there, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and you caught me here in the car again, heading down to Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland for yet another new comic book day. Well, there are a lot of great books that are coming out this week, especially some of those really good J. Scott Campbell covers that are coming out. He's the artist of the month, I guess, at Marvel, because starting this week, I think, you're going to start seeing for the next few weeks a lot of variants from Marvel where you got J. Scott Campbell covers. And what's curious is I did not pre-order any of those, mostly because that artwork was not available when the pre-order was made 2 or 3 months ago with M&M Comics. And I don't just automatically get everything that J. Scott Campbell does. There are times when his covers are just money, they're awesome, and there's times when it's kind of just bland and very cartoonish and very, maybe a little too Disney-like. Well, I'm going to go down. There's definitely a couple this week I want to pick up, so I'm going to pick those up, as well as a few other things. Let me go. I'll film like I normally do, and then we'll come home, bag and board everything that I pick up, and then we'll do a show and tell. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I just finished up here at Third Eye Comics, and I had a great time going through all the new comic books. Lots of great books this week. Definitely picked up some of those great J. Scott Campbell covers. Picked up some other things. I think I got everything on my list. So you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go home, bag and board everything, and then we'll do a show and tell. But there was an added bonus, and I was ill-equipped because I didn't bring the strap on, my sticky goose strap on to put the phone, the camera on my chest. Normally, I don't do that for New Comic Book Day. But at Third Eye Comics tonight, they actually had a signing that I was unaware of. They had a writer in there with his own release book called Ancestral Recall right here. And this is by Jordan Clark. And that's who was there tonight, Jordan Clark. And I got to meet him. And normally I would film this, but when I don't have the strap on to film and talk, it's a little hard for me just to hold a camera up there. It's very awkward. But I ended up spending a few minutes with Jordan because there wasn't a lot of people there tonight. All the people that were there for the signing had already finished and gone by the time I got there. So I sat there and I talked with him for a few minutes, and he talked about his book and how excited he is about this independent book right here, a self-published. Definitely going to give this a read. And I told him I'd talk about it on the channel and give it a fair read and everything like that. He's actually got a pretty good small footprint at DC. He's done some work for them. So hopefully you guys will look up Jordan Clark, and I will too, to find out some of his other work. If I'd known about the signing, I probably would have went through the PC collection and see if I could find some of his books to get signed. But as it is, I ended up picking up a couple copies of this, and he signed both of them for me. So I'm going to read this when I get home. Of course, this is going to get bagged and boarded too, just like all the other new comic books. Once I get there, again, I will do that show and tell. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Many unbearable hours later.
All right, guys, I finally made it back home, and I bagged and boarded all the new comics I picked up this week. Let's start off with the very first book right here, Ancestral Recall. And as I talked about before, and you saw the photo the creator of this, the writer, Jordan Clark, was there at Third Eye, just like for any other signing. Now, it was very vacant by the time I got there. He wasn't going to be there much longer, but I did have a chance to sit down and talk with him. I didn't get a chance to film anything because I didn't have my apparatus that holds my camera. So I did have a chance to talk to him, and he's very enthusiastic about this book. And I told him, I've got a YouTube show. I'm definitely going to talk about it. I'll give it an honest read and see what I thought, and I will definitely put it out there. Well, I will say the artwork was very nice, but the writing was actually really good too. And that's the important thing for him. I think he's telling a story he really wants to tell. And what's kind of curious about this is it does bring into this some Black history that it's not very mainstream, and I really enjoyed that part of it. But there's a great mystery going on in this book already. He sets it up pretty good. We'll see what happens after this. I will definitely pick up copies of this moving forward. So thumbs up right there for Ancestral Recall. Hope you guys give it a shot and look for the book. I don't know how widely spread it was, but I know Third Eye probably has some copies, probably some signed copies too. So I encourage you guys to reach out to Third Eye and possibly pick this up and give it a chance. So there's my plug. I didn't get paid for this. I mean, I am giving you my honest opinion on that. But as I said, he signed a couple copies there. So the regular books for this week, and as you noticed, I definitely filmed a little bit quicker on the new comic books this week, and that was because Jordan's table was right there pretty much on top of the new comic books. So I didn't have the room to be able to shoot like I normally do. But I hope you got a good idea of all the new books that were coming out this week. This week in particular is when I have my 2 pull books. I don't have many pull books at Third Eye, but I do keep that so I can get discounts on them, and as well as any other new comic books I pick up. So this week was Absolute Superman number 10 and Amazing Spider-Man number 9. You've got the aftermath of Spider-Man, Peter Parker getting his butt kicked right here. Got a different artist in there, but these I still order those through my regular subscription service, M&M Comics, but I do hold on to those, as I said, as a pull box. So I keep those, but I did pick up the cover right here. I don't pick up a lot of variants on Spider-Man unless it's something that jumps out at me. Well, this is Nitho Diaz, and I've done nothing but talk about Nitho Diaz on his run on, is it X-Men or Uncanny X-Men? I never can remember which one. But every time he takes Ryan Stegman's place, the artwork is that much better. And I'm really big on him, so I picked up that variant right there. And then speaking of variants, starting this week was the J. Scott Campbell collection. I guess technically it's the Just Spectacular collection. And you had multiple copies, multiple books this week. It came out with the J. Scott Campbell covers. Probably the hottest one this week was Amazing Spider-Man number 9. This is the Mary Jane cover right there. That's a very, very good one. Uncanny X-Men number 19. With Rogue. And what's funny is this I love, this I like. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the faces on some of the female characters. Rogue, he's just not been hitting on lately. But the other characters, Mary Jane, of course, he's very famous for doing Mary Jane. Done very good on that. I like that one so much better. But it isn't always about the female characters with J. Scott Campbell. He does some really good other things too, including One World Under Doom number 6. That is a smoking hot cover right there. That is a very good Doom cover. And then Captain America number 2. I thought that was really good. What's interesting is I didn't care for the Venom cover at all. That was out this week. I didn't get that. So moving forward over the next probably few new comic book weeks, we're definitely going to have more covers. I didn't pre-order these books because they weren't available. The art wasn't available when I put that pre-order in 2 to 3 months in advance. And as you can see, I'm a big fan of J. Scott Campbell, but not everything. So I didn't want to just automatically get everything. With somebody like an Alex Ross, honestly, every time they came out with one of his Timeless books, new batch of those, I literally just ordered every book that came out. I didn't matter which one. But with J. Scott Campbell's, I'm a little bit more selective. Anyway, Up also this week was Something's Killing Children number 43. This I just missed pre-ordering. It's something I pre-order every month. I just skipped it. I missed it completely. But I did pick up the Dan Panosian cover right there. And Dan Panosian is somebody I met at HeroesCon. I hope to see him again because he was very nice. And I love his artwork, especially some of the stuff he's been doing for Titan Comics on Conan. Now, this is a book, I did pick up issue number 1, but it was not on my pull list after that. I've gotten to the point on these new EC Comics books, I'm picking up the number 1s, but on a book like this, Cruel Universe, they're up to issue number 3. I wouldn't have necessarily picked this up. I didn't pick it up for speculation, but I've actually really enjoyed these stories, so I think I get caught with trying to cut books and cut the bill down sometimes, that I forget that I actually like to read comics, and these have been really fun and horrible, right? Horrible stories. Things happen to these, and all these EC books, it's awful what happens to people. And then lastly this week was something else that I had missed when it came out in the pre-order, and that's mostly because I'm skipping over just about 98% of all the X-Men books. They're so awful that I only pick up certain ones. Like I said, that Uncanny X-Men I think is actually Nito Diaz. So whenever he's the artist, I'm picking up that book. But for the most part, I'm not picking up much else. I'm picking up Absolute Wolverine. I'm picking up, I think they just finished with the Cable Love and Chrome. I think that was the miniseries. I really enjoyed that. But they had Wolverine by Chris Claremont, and Tom Riley, the artist from G.I. Joe, is doing this. And for whatever reason, I must have just skipped over it. I didn't order it, didn't pre-order it. So I ended up picking up this. So this was definitely a week where I just missed pre-ordering things, and I used New Comic Book Day to pick them up. And I'm looking at all these books, and just about every one of them was a good example of that. So I'm looking forward to reading this and taking a look at the artwork too, because I like Tom Riley on G.I. Joe. So that is it. That's everything I picked up for New Comic Book Day this week. Guys, definitely let me know in the comment section below what you think of books I picked up. What do you think about these J. Scott Campbell covers? I'd love to hear. Also, if you enjoyed today's episode, definitely give me a like, slap the subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the episodes that I put out each and every week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great day. I will see you in a couple of days for the next episode. Until then, remember, every comic has a story.